In today's gaming news, we'll be discussing some of the biggest events in 2012, including the collapse of THQ, the launch of the Wii U, 38 Studios closure, and Kickstarter changing the industry. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It is Tuesday, January 1st, 2013, and my name is Force, here with today's gaming news. Now there's not a whole lot going on in the industry this week, and I thought I'd use this opportunity to talk about some of the major gaming events from 2012, and today we'll be starting off with the collapse of THQ. Over the course of 2012, it became plainly obvious that THQ was in trouble. While low sale numbers of some of their games played a role, the biggest culprit was the U-Draw, a multi-platform tablet THQ invested heavily in that simply did not take off. First signs of their downfall came in February when the company announced a $56 million loss in the third quarter of 2011. The months that followed were filled with constant layoffs and poor financial reports. Then this November, THQ announced they were seeking strategic alternatives for funding. This led to a 50% stock drop and the eventual announcement that they were filing for bankruptcy. Now it's important to keep in mind that just because they filed for bankruptcy, this doesn't necessarily mean the end. If they happen to do well in the sale of upcoming games, they could get back on their feet, although probability is pretty slim. Let's not forget that Activision not too long ago filed for bankruptcy themselves, and I think they're doing quite well at the moment. Next up in major gaming events from 2012, we'll be talking about the launch of the Wii U. Technically speaking, the launch of the Wii U marked the beginning of the next console generation. Although the specs of the system will likely fall far behind the next Sony and Microsoft consoles, Nintendo continues their tradition of offering an alternative and unique experience, this time with the Wii U controller. While Wii U sale numbers have been decent, it hasn't taken off quite like the launch of the Wii did, and it doesn't help that a massive day one patch was needed in order to access the Wii U's online features. Now I myself have yet to pick up a Wii U, and whether or not I get one is going to depend on the type of games Nintendo comes out with. I'm looking forward to the next Zelda, but beyond that, I'm not seeing too much from this console that really draws me in. Zombie U is certainly a contender, and if the Wii U goes on sale, and the price is right, I'll probably pick one up. Moving on, we'll be talking about some of the news that made me the saddest in 2012, and that was the closure of 38 Studios. This year's closure of 38 Studios made massive headlines as a result of the company's well-known owner and former baseball player Curt Schilling. After a mediocre performance of their first game, Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, the company was unable to receive additional funding for their next planned project, the Kingdoms of Amalur MMO. This, along with poor company management, led to the abrupt closure of 38 Studios, and as a result, Rhode Island taxpayers who invested in the company as part of an economic development deal were on the hook for $75 million. Although the game certainly had its issues, I really enjoyed Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, and I was looking forward to its sequel and the eventual MMO. But unfortunately enough, because 38 Studios was mishandled, and due to the game's relative poor performance, they didn't get the funding they needed, and they closed. While it makes me sad, hopefully Kingdoms of Amalur will be revitalized some way or another eventually in the future, although I'm not really banking on that happening. And last up today, we'll be ending on a happy note as we discuss how Kickstarter has changed the gaming industry. Kickstarter's effect on the gaming industry cannot be understated. It has changed the way developers fund their games. By going directly to the consumers and cutting out the middleman, they can now make the games they want without publisher influence. While Kickstarter has existed for some time, its role in the gaming industry really took shape following Double Fine's funding of Double Fine Adventure, in which they raised $3.3 million. That success has led to countless other gaming Kickstarters, from the Ouya console to Project Eternity, Wasteland 2, and Star Citizen. The Kickstarter platform has proved to be an absolute boon for developers of games, as they can bypass publishers, get funding through us, and make the games that they want. You really can't say enough good things about a platform like that. While it has yet to be seen how this will go in 2013 and how some of these projects that have been funded, well, whether or not they actually come to fruition. That's a major complaint and worry when it comes to Kickstarter, because these companies get funding and who's to say when and if they're going to deliver on that promise. We'll have to wait and see how 2013 pans out and whether or not most of these games we funded actually get made. Let me know what you guys think about Kickstarter or any of the other major events from 2012 that we talked about here in this video in the comment section below. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode episode of the Force Feed. As always, thank you so much for watching. Now, once again, there's really not a whole lot going on in the industry today, or probably not a bunch going on this week, so we're probably going to have to do things a little bit different when it comes to the Force Feed, but don't worry, I'll still get you some awesome content. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force, and you've just been force-fed. I still can't get over the whole 38 Studios and Kurt Schilling business. I mean, finally, a respectable man tells the world that he's interested in gaming, and then everyone watches him crash and burn. Way to make us look good, Kurt.